Have you ever really stopped to think about what happens when you hit send? I mean, how a click can connect you with someone literally on the other side of the planet, and it happens, well, instantly? Today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow that single click and peel back the curtain on the incredible, invisible journey your data takes every single second.
You know, to really get the internet, we have to start with us. This quote really says it all. We are wired to communicate. It's as basic as our need for air and water. So the internet isn't just some tech gadget. It's the modern world's answer to one of our deepest, oldest human needs, the need to connect with each other.
So that brings us right to the big question, right? How does this all actually work? It really does feel like magic, but I promise you, it's not. It's something even cooler. It's an incredibly clever, high-speed delivery service. So for the rest of this explainer, we're going to follow one single message on its wild journey to see how this whole global system ticks.
All right, so where does our story begin? Well, just like any message you send, it all starts in one place, right there, in the palm of your hand, or sitting on the desk in front of you.
So every single one of these journeys starts on what the pros call an end device. That's just a fancy term for your phone, your laptop, your tablet, anything you use to create or see stuff online. So let's imagine you're sending a picture of your cat to a friend. That photo, that little piece of data, is born right there on your device.
But here's the catch. You can't just toss that cat photo out onto the internet and, hope it gets there. Nope. It needs to be carefully, methodically packaged and addressed for its very long trip.
And the rule book for how to do all that packaging? That's what we call protocols. The easiest way to think about protocols is as the internet's universal language. Every single device, everywhere in the world, agrees to speak this exact same language. It's the only way to make sure messages don't get lost or just turn into digital gibberish. It's the absolute foundation of it all. Okay, so the technical term for this whole process is encapsulation, but honestly, it's way easier to just think of it like a digital post office. First, your cat photo, that's the data, gets broken up into smaller, easy-to-handle chunks called segments. Then each one of those chunks is put into a little digital box called a packet. And this is crucial. Each packet gets a global IP address, which is basically the full mailing address for your friend's computer. Then that box gets put into a final envelope called a frame, which has the local next step delivery instructions, like, hey, send this to the Wi-Fi router. And finally, that whole perfectly wrapped package is converted into bits, a stream of ones and zeros all ready to be sent out as a signal.
And just like that, our cat photo isn't a photo anymore. It's now a whole bunch of perfectly packaged, addressed, and encoded signals, totally prepped and ready to travel across the entire world.
So the package is all wrapped and ready to go. Now what? Well, first, it's got to leave the house. And that's where your local network comes into play.
Your device, your phone or laptop, is part of what's called a local area network, or a LAN. That's your home Wi-Fi network or the network at your office. Our little data packet's very first jump is from your device to an intermediary, usually your router, which is like the traffic cop for this small local network.
So what's the real difference between your LAN and the internet? Well, your LAN is small. It's private to you, and it's really, really fast for moving things around inside your house. The WAN, or Wide Area Network, is basically the opposite. It's the enormous global network that connects all of our tiny little LANs together. Now, this first little trip across your LAN has to happen over some kind of physical connection, what we call network media. And this is where things start to get really cool.
Because as soon as our data packet makes it past your router, it's basically leaving your quiet neighborhood street and merging onto the global information superhighway.
And yep, that superhighway is the WAN. This is the internet you think of, a massive worldwide web of interconnected networks. This is the part of the journey where our little cat photo is going to travel potentially thousands and thousands of miles.
Now, this journey can take a few different forms. Right out of your router, our packet, which is now a bunch of electrical signals, might travel through the old-school copper wires that are probably hidden inside the walls of your building.
Or, of course, if you're on Wi-Fi, it's not traveling through a wire at all. It's actually being converted into radio waves and literally flying through the air from your phone or laptop to your router.
But the real magic happens when it hits that global superhighway. Because at that point, our packet is converted into tiny pulses of light and shot through incredibly thin strands of pure glass called fiber optic cables, traveling at, well, the speed of light.
And here is exactly why fiber optics are the undisputed king of the internet backbone. Just look at the difference here.
Copper can go about 100 meters. Fiber? Up to 100,000 meters. That's not even a fair fight. The bandwidth, the amount of data it can carry, is just orders of magnitude higher. And because it's just light in a glass tube, it's totally immune to electrical interference. It is the perfect medium for sending mind-boggling amounts of data over incredible distances.
And I'm not just talking about cables running under your street. We are talking about massive bundles of these fiber optic cables laid down on the ocean floor, creating a physical link between entire continents. There's over 1 million kilometers of these submarine cables crisscrossing the globe right now. That is how your cat photo gets from New York to Tokyo.
So, after zipping across cities, oceans, and continents at the speed of light, our little data packet is finally closing in on its destination. So what happens when it gets there?
Well, as soon as the packet arrives at your friend's device, that whole packing process we did at the beginning, it just happens in reverse. It's called de-encapsulation, but it's really just unpacking. The signal's received, the frame is opened, then the packet is opened, then the segment, until all the original pieces are laid out.
And poof, the data is reassembled and your cat photo appears on your friend's screen. But wait, the story's not quite over. The second her device gets it, it sends a tiny confirmation message all the way back across the internet to you, following that exact same path, just to let your device know, hey, we got it, all good.
And this, to me, is the most incredible part of all. This entire round trip, the packaging, traveling thousands of miles over land and undersea, the unpacking, and sending a confirmation all the way back, the whole thing happens in the blink of an eye. That little delay you sometimes experience online, your ping, that's literally the physical travel time for this incredible global round-trip journey.
So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that the internet isn't some magical cloud. It is a very real, physical network of wires and signals. But more than that, it's a massive global agreement. An agreement to all follow the same rules of the road. And as new technologies like AI and the metaverse keep growing, we're going to need new rules for how they communicate too. Which leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. What's the next great digital agreement going to look like?